Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the Advanced CapCut tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 8, where I'll be showing you guys about creating a blur background. So let's not waste much time and let's get started on learning how to create a blur background in CapCut. So over here on my screen, as you guys can see, now, this is basically a new project which I have created, and let's change its name to let's write the short form BG Blur. Okay, so we're gonna learn about background blur. So the short form of background is BG, which I have just written right over here. And now, the first thing is if you do have any video in which you want to blur the background. And most probably, and in most cases, what happens is that you want to blur background in which you do have a subject. Like if you want to focus on that particular subject inside your video, you tend to blur the background in most of the cases. Well, in many of these cases, there can be other reasons, there can be exceptions, but as a beginner, you should learn that in what cases a background blur is basically being used. So if you don't import any file, there are these videos which I can basically import. But instead, like, let's not use this one, okay? I do have these videos right over here. Like if I just open this, I can just blur the background of this particular video as well. Like you guys can see, I can actually blur the background of this particular video. So let me just show you guys with other videos as well. So if I just go into my stock materials, and here you guys can see I do already have saved one video. So let's click on this add option. And now here you guys can see this is how my video actually looks like. Okay, so this is the video using which I am going to work on with, which is around 12 seconds and 41 frames. Okay. And as of this one, now the next thing what I'm gonna do is I have this one layer of this particular video. So the same thing what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this same video and I'm just going to put that same set of video just on top of this particular video right over here. Okay. And now let's go to this layer. Okay. So you guys can see I am on this top layer of the same video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and now I am going to go to this animation, not adjustment. Let's go to video. Let's go with remove background. And once you have selected remove background, I can just click on auto renewal and it's getting processed. So I'll just wait for it. So now the auto removal of my video, which is over here on top, is basically being done. Okay, but you guys might be thinking, well, where? Like it does look the same of how it used to look before. Well, it's because I do have that same layer of video just underneath. Okay, like if you only do want to see this top layer, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to come here onto the timeline and I am going to hide this particular track, and you guys can see the background of this video is basically being removed. So if I just play this up and you guys can see this is how it's going to look like And now here you guys can see that the background is totally being removed except this particular part. Okay, so you guys can see this particular part I need to do some things as well. So you guys can actually apply any kind of mask if you want, and this is kind of blurred as well. Well, that's not going to create much of a problem. So now I am going to unhide this layer, okay, this particular track again. And now the work of my top layer is mostly done. Now this thing is that I need to go here onto the second layer. And now if I don't want to hide this track on top, I can hide this track. And now let's go to this video option. And now over here, if I just go to filters and if I just type blur and if I just click on enter, you guys can see that I do have a lot of these blur options. Okay, so it totally depends up to me. What kind of blur am I looking for? Okay, so let's come here. If I do want to apply this kind, okay, I can basically apply any of these filters. If I just go to these video effects, okay, if I do want to apply some blur effect, I can also apply some blur effect as well. Okay, so that's how the blur effect gonna look like. You guys can see this is the type of blur effect that you guys can actually work on with. So let me just get this particular blur effect and I can just place it right over here. Let's say if I just place this on top and let's put out the blur effect over here. Let's place it down. Let's keep this thing right over here. Now, let's try to place these things up all accordingly. Same way, let's come here. Same way with this same video. Okay, so now if I just play this particular video, you guys can see how this blur effect actually looks like the background is basically being blurred right over here. You guys can see this part actually doesn't look that great, so I can just crop this thing out basically if that part is unnecessary. Okay, so I can come here, maybe crop this part as well. And also, let's say if I do want to start right from here, I can actually start it right from here. Okay, like suddenly if you do want to jump in, otherwise you guys can just go to different transitions and you guys can just apply those transitions right over here as well. Okay, so let's come here. And if you do want to apply this transition right over here or at the start, you guys can select the amount of blur. Okay, like if you want that blur to slowly fade in, okay, you guys can also do that. So for that, let's come here. Let's adjust the timing as well. And at first, let's come here. I will just put 0. Let's add a keyframe. And once you come to this particular point, let's just go with 50-degree. And again, right over here, I am going on with 50. And lastly, at this particular point, I am again going with 0. So now let's see how this particular transition actually looks like. Okay, so this transition looks quite great. And if you just want to take some time in blurring things out, you guys can also do so. So just position it accordingly the way you want it. Okay, so let's come here and you guys will be able to see that it's slowly blurring in and it will just slowly blur out as well. Okay, so that looks a lot more different and a lot better of how it is. And the same way you guys can work with these other options as well. Like if you do want to come here, let's add on some music. Let's go with modeling keyword. Let's click on enter. And here you guys can see I do have all of these audios. And let's bring this down right over here. Let's put out a cut or let's split it down. Let's select this option. Let's click on delete. Now shift Z to zoom to fit over here into the timeline. And let's see the preview. Well, this kind of looks good. And once you're done with this, if you want to apply more things, like if you want to put out some stickers and stuff as well, you guys can apply different kind of stickers as well. And under sticker, you do have a lot of this thing. Okay, so you do have mood, you do have soccer, you do have vlog, you do have this icon and stuff. So you guys can just select all of that. So let me just check that which one mostly I can apply. Okay, so let me just go with Japanese and let's see what are the results that will be shown to me. So let's come here and let's come down and let me just take this one and let's see where I can basically apply this. And well, this sticker is being downloaded. Now let's drag it down right over here. Let me just bring it. And what I can do is I can just place this sticker right over here in one corner. And let's see how it actually looks. Okay, so let's click on enter. And maybe let's come here and let's bring my cursor back again. And if you do want to decrease the size out a little bit, you guys can just decrease the size out a little bit as well. And also over here for this sticker, let's try to scale it up accordingly. Okay, so let's come right over here and let's add a keyframe, and I do want to scale 0. Or let's go with 1. And once you come to this particular position, I do want to scale it somewhat around 80. Okay, so somewhat around 80. And now let's come over here. Let's add another keyframe. And lastly, I want it to disappear the same way. Okay, so let's come here, let's scale it down to 0. So now let's see how it actually looks. So yeah, this one kind of looks good. At the same time, if you do want to apply some animations, you guys can apply animation to this sticker as well. But eventually using the keyframes, I already have applied this. Okay, so let's come here. If you do want to increase it, okay, you can increase the duration as well. Let's come here. Let's place it. Let's place it over here, and let's place it over here as well. Let's play it up. So yeah, now let's come right over here. And once you are done, you can now export this. Okay, so let's come here. Let's click on export. Let's click right over here. Let's go to this desktop option. Now let's select my resource file and I'll just select this particular folder and I can just export this particular video. So yeah, I hope you guys to have understood this class on how you guys will be able to create a background blur inside CapCut, apply different kind of stickers, apply animations to it, and also how you can work on with the blur and its intensity as well. So see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.